Hey guys, it's Mike here, and I just read Chapter 65 of the Dragon Ball Super manga, which once again continued the already overly dragged out ending of this arc. And I wish I could say I enjoyed it like the last chapter, but I didn't. And in all honesty, this chapter was trash. Perhaps even the worst chapter of the entire arc so far, featuring even more terrible contrived writing from Toyotaro that led to Goku making perhaps the dumbest decision he's ever made in the history of the franchise. Which is saying a lot considering the horrible decision making he's displayed since the Buu saga of Dragon Ball Z. Because Goku, instead of actually living up to his character development over the course of the past 3 decades, which Super loves to ignore, is being written by a guy who doesn't even understand his supposedly favorite character. And so Goku decided to give Moro, a planet-eating genocidal monster with zero redeeming qualities whatsoever, a SENZU BEAN. Despite the fact that the guy is clearly still going to be evil, try to murder Goku and his family, and that the angel Mary Sue literally sacrificed his very existence just so that Goku could defeat and kill Moro. But then, in typical terrible writing fashion that we've come to expect from Toyotaro, he once again ripped off the Buu saga and had Moro regain his abilities from his severed arm, and get even strongerer than ever, now stealing the power of the Mary Sue angel for himself. But if that wasn't all, he then ripped off the Cell saga again by having Moro become a bloated freak, and then finding out a last-second ass pull of a technique that was never once hinted at before this chapter, and fused with the Earth itself so that he could rip off Galactus and Ego the Living Planet simultaneously. And this is to plagiarize even further beyond. And just like that, Ultra Instinct has once again proved to be a total non sequitur, as the ultimate power beyond the gods of destruction once again couldn't finish the job and actually end an arc. Nope, instead we got a fan service chapter and Toyotaro and Toriyama simultaneously ripping out the rug from another character. Because why the hell would we actually want something competently written by people who actually give a shit? And don't just want to troll their audience, right? Characters like Vegeta train for an entire arc and attain brand new abilities that have been built up to automatically win. But then they don't because of terrible contrived garbage writing by a hack writer who shouldn't even be allowed to do this anymore. I mean, hasn't Super butchered this franchise enough already? Do we need to keep dragging out this ending worse than Bleach and One Piece combined until you're done pissing on its grave? Toyotaro should be ashamed of writing this ending. His editor should be ashamed of approving this. And Toriyama should be ashamed to allow people to continue to trample over his once great franchise. Something so iconic that once stood above the rest of the genre as a gleaming example of action, spectacle, and fun, now reduced to a subversive, poorly written, copy and paste garbage like this that other franchises who owe their existence to Dragon Ball now mock for not even being able to hold a candle to them. As weak as the writing in Z could be at times, it's still god tier compared to this. At this point, I would gladly rewatch the end of the Buu saga over reading this crap. I think this arc of Super has definitively proven that Toyotaro will never be the right person to continue this story. The majority of the Super manga up until this point was already bad, but the fact that he finally seemed to be doing the right thing only to ruin the entire arc at the end shows he's incompetent and should be let go, along with his editor. Now, I'm not someone who usually advocates the fire them all method, but sometimes when the disease is so widespread, you just have to cut it all out. There are far more talented writers and artists out there who could actually tell a good story while understanding the characters involved and respecting the prior continuity. Toyotaro isn't one of them. So it's time for him to wrap it up, retire off to Who Gives a Fucksville, and bring in someone who actually cares. Or Super will be forever doomed to be a subpar sequel to an iconic franchise. Well, at least until the day that people finally wake up, take off their nostalgia goggles, and see the steaming pile of shit for what it really is. And now, because I'm tired of covering this terrible ending, I'm going to pull a subversion of my own and not do so anymore. I'm done reading and talking about this arc until it's finally over. Whether that's next month or 2 years from now, I don't really care. Toyotaro clearly doesn't give a shit about this arc anymore, so why should I? So that's it for this video. I'm sure that many of you are angry with me right now, but I don't care. So throw your insults down below in the comments, claim that I'm not a real fan, and pretend that what I'm saying isn't true. Either way, I'm off to read a manga that's actually good. Make sure to subscribe and enable all notifications so you can stay up to date with all of my videos. Thanks for watching, and make sure to stick around because there's a lot more to come in the future. Endless!
just trash!